Judgment is all around us. Controls how we dress, to what we binge watch on Netflix. Heck, you subconsciously judged this very thumbnail before clicking on this very video. No movie explores the topic of prejudice better than ParaNorman. Let's take a deeper look, shall we? Prejudice is defined as the idea of basing one's opinion without any logic or actual experience. Maybe you judge a book before you read it. Or maybe you formed an opinion about a sandwich before you even tasted it. In other terms, you're basing your opinion on speculation and assumption. ParaNorman specifically crafts its characters to be built off of assumptions and then flips it on its head. Take Neil, a character whose outward appearance doesn't reflect who he truly is. Based on speculation, one would think that he would be a crybaby or a scaredy cat, which are both false. He's loyal and brave. He acts more like a golden retriever than anything else. This kid is so wholesome.
So, you wanna come play a bit later?
Does anyone else want a friend like Neil? Is it just me? It's probably just me. That's fine. But I think the best example comes from a character that you and I prejudged for the entirety of the film. That being Mitch, who acts like a stereotypical jock who loves his car. That's cool, I guess. We've seen this before in lots of media, but it's not until the very end when he says,
"You know, you're gonna love my boyfriend."
Courtney and the rest of us fell into that same trap of letting our prejudice get the best of us. That's kind of awesome for a film to instill its message onto you as you're watching it. Good for them, good job. But it also raises the question, why are we constantly caught judging things that may not have a simple answer? However, ParaNorman has a possible answer: fear. Fear is a primal function in humans. Without it, we'd act like Scrappy-Doo in a given situation.
Let me at him! Let me at him!
We probably wouldn't survive very long. So yeah, just acting like Scrappy-Doo is never a good idea. Fear might be necessary for our survival, but it boosts our judgment as well, creating a sort of tunnel vision of sorts. Picture yourself walking down a dark street at night. You hear footsteps behind you, and at that moment, your heart starts to race and your thoughts begin to run wild. What do I do? What if this person's following me? What happens if they catch me? Run! We've all been in situations where anxiety has gotten the best of us, but instead of taking the logical approach, our brain is more focused on getting out of the current situation.
I gotta get out of here!
All of our anxious thoughts are based on speculation and stereotypes rather than reasoning. And when the zombies first rise, Alvin and Norm's instinct is to run. If they don't, they'll get bitten and turn into undead creatures like in one of Norman's favorite scary movies. All of Norman's opinions are based on speculation from fictional media. This is what all horror movies seem to capitalize on, that primary instinct that shuts down all logic. We're happy to see Sidney Prescott or Laurie Strode survive a night of terror because we're watching the story from their point of view. How do we know if the monsters that are going bumping in the night are actually that bad? Sully and Mike from Monsters Inc. aren't that scary. Neither are the zombies here. They just want to apologize so they can finally be put to rest. People like Norman and the rest of the town believe the stereotype rather than their actual reality and shut down all logic in order to get out of the current situation. And in these moments of fear, we rely more heavily on fight or flight, an action that makes us question if we should throw a brick at a zombie like Joel does in The Last of Us, or run away like a chase sequence in Scooby-Doo. The choice is yours. Fight or flight only comes when we feel threatened in some way. That feeling of vulnerability is what leads us to judgment. The townspeople in ParaNorman seem like fine people. They're a little weirded out by a kid who seems to be talking to himself until the Night of the Living Dead comes along. Everything changes. All rational thought is set aside in order for them to form an angry mob. I mean, I kind of feel bad for these zombies. Like, the last time they were living, it was the 1700s. Now they're in like the 70s, I'm assuming, from like Norman's television. which seems like a great idea for a solo movie, just saying. And if there is a movie that explores that idea, please let me know, because I would love to watch it. When it comes to the townspeople, I don't know whether to be concerned for them because they can't take down 7 zombies, or happy that the undead, leave unscathed. Now, those feelings of being scared and vulnerable come from a lack of control. Instead of letting that fear get to them and run away, the townspeople take it upon themselves to get control back, creating a mob mentality in order to do so, letting the fear change who they are in order to feel confident in their environment again. And this is what Norman's grandmother warned in the beginning.
There's nothing wrong with being scared, so long as you don't let it change who you are.
This leads us to our next point as to why people judge through fear, that being from the unknown. Both Agatha, no, not that one, and Norman have a power inside them that others around them don't understand. Norman closely resembles the kid from The Sixth Sense, and Agatha has more witchcraft-based powers going on, but both are the town outcast. Not because they're like Wednesday Addams who prefers to be alone, but the town is afraid of what they don't understand. The supernatural is a big concept that some can't wrap their head around, like the judge and the others who are responsible for what happened to Agatha, or are too rigid in their own line of thinking. Look at Norman's father. His stubbornness comes from a variety of different ideas. He still could be grieving over the loss of his mother, which is why he dismisses Norman's claims, or he could be scared for his son but doesn't know how to show it, or he could just be a jerk. All of those could be plausible. The fear of the unknown is what causes the town to judge before listening, causing Agatha's curse to reign over the lands for centuries. Even when the judge is sorry for what he did, her vengeance still consumes the town, making the young witch become unwilling to listen just like everyone else. Her fear and anger get the better of her, making her a bully just like Alvin was in the beginning. And if this was any other horror movie, the people would have gotten rid of the zombies and called the equivalent to the Ghostbusters in their universe to stop their witch problem. No morals would have been learned, and nothing would have changed. ParaNorman is not like other horror movies. It stops showing the narrow point of view of one character and opens up the lens, reversing the ideas of how fear creates a level of tunnel vision and letting the characters listen to new perspectives. Fear can only take you so far. Sometimes you have to jump into the abyss to widen your horizon. You know what Elsa would say in this circumstance? Sometimes you need to go into the unknown. I'm sorry, that was bad. With a little help from Courtney, Norman learns to conquer his fear and put an end to the curse once and for all. At least I think. I mean, it feels like she could still return. That's just how I interpret it. I don't know. Now, when it comes to the ending, it might be a little ominous and a little awkward, with Norman's dad trying to contact his ghostly mother, but it still works. No one is going to change overnight. Look at the zombies. It took them like centuries. So for someone like Norman's dad to do a complete 180 doesn't seem realistic. The moral of the story isn't to stop judging. I think that's literally impossible, but it's about keeping an open mind and actively listening to others' perspectives. Hear them out, because you never know what you could learn. And isn't that what Norman's grandma says in the beginning?
They just bothered to sit down and talk it through and be a different story.
That is just what I think. This was my first time watching this film, and I really kind of enjoyed the humor. It's spooky season, so let me know what kind of spooky flicks you want me to watch. And if you're looking for another spooky video to watch, why don't you click this one? Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye!